All right, we're live. This is Mitch coming to you from Melville, New York. How's everybody doing? Going to be a quick live stream. I actually have to get my butt to the airport to JFK to pick up my nephew, and I already can tell. Oh my God, I'm running late. So this is going to be a quick show today. The show is this. I'd rather go through a lesson learned and either share with you the benefit of the doubt or teach you something I learned from my own mistakes or from what I've seen other people do wrong and what other people have done right, what I've done right. This is educational. It's not about giving you the hot stock and saying, I think, it's not about saying I think you should buy this stock or that stock. And you know the point is, I'm not here to make decisions for you. You have to be an adult and make your own decisions. You can't be, once in a while, I'll give you an example. I get a call from people once in a while. Do you think I should do this? Do you think I should do that? And then they call me like a couple of days later. Well, if I do this, what about this? What about that? And then they call me a few days later. And I realize that what that person is doing is they can't make up their mind of what to do. So they're asking a bunch of different financial advisors for advice. And if anyone says anything that doesn't match up, they call all the other people they're talking to, all the other financial advisors, and they're trying to piece together a decision-making process or a portfolio or a plan. And that's the thing. If you don't have a process, then you have to defer your process to somebody else. If you're going to pick and choose among everybody else's different processes to make it one your own, well, that's okay. Take what you like, take the best or what you think is the best of everybody's process. But eventually you have to make the decision. You have to pull the trigger. Are you an investor? Are you investing for the long term or not? And that's a valuable lesson that everyone has to learn. Some people learn it sooner than others. Some people just know that they need to invest and they do it. And some people can't make up their minds. And some people get scared and they're always worried about the next boogeyman around the next corner. There's always, for them, always something to worry about. Where they're to them, we're never out of the woods yet. There's always something else that has to be fixed or straightened out or come to pass, and it's just a nonstop thing for them. And unfortunately, if you don't have optimism and the ability to make a decision, you're not going to be an investor. And when you finally do get off your duff and invest, at the first sign of trouble, you're going to run and you'll probably lock in some short-term losses. And that'll just reinforce all the bad things you do about investing. And there's also something where people become too exuberant, too overconfident. I'll tell you about a friend I have, a good deal younger than I am and a nice guy, a gentleman. But during the early part of the pandemic, during the shutdown in March of 2000, I used to walk around the high school track every evening because I needed to get out of the house. I needed to get exercise. I needed to clear my head. And I would go with my iPod, my earbuds, and I would talk to people, talk to friends, check in with friends. And my friend called me and he's telling me how amazing he's doing in all these weird little stocks that you never heard of. And this is what was going on with the Robinhood accounts and the early part of the meme stocks. And he thought, this is somebody who's not experienced in investing, but everything he was picking was going up. It wasn't really him. It was just the environment for speculative stocks because of stimulus money and the ease of use in the Robinhood app turned a whole generation of young men. It turned a whole generation of young men into short-term gamblers. And this fellow was so overly confident. He would say to me, you should hire me. You should bring me in as your partner. You manage the accounts, you manage the clients, but I'll pick the stocks because I just can't miss. I'm that good. About a year and a half later, he told me that it's all rigged. Everything's down. It's all rigged. So was it rigged when it went up, or was it just rigged when things went down? And this person learned a tough lesson about risk, because when the stuff hit the fan and the trade ended, and you realize that all these stocks were nothing, had nothing behind them, he saw his account go way up and then way down and even lower than when he started. and he'll probably have tax loss carry forwards for the rest of his life. So this is we need to we need to take lessons from this. So what's the lesson for today? The lesson for today is the opposite of a lesson that I've been reinforcing for the last forever. When we have big down days, I don't do anything. I don't change anything. I don't feel pressured to act, not for my own accounts, not for my clients, because we've already, including my clients, we've done everything we need to do. We are, in fact, positioned appropriately for our needs, for our goals, for our view of our future. So we're not in a rush to say, oh, no, we bought this, we better sell it. Or, oh, no, the market's going up. We better buy. We better buy back all the stuff we sold 2 weeks ago because now it's going up. That's not investing. That is not a process. That is just following the herd and dealing with FOMO, fear of missing out when the market's going down, fear of missing out when the market's going up. Quick intro. All right. And then I'll be off in about a minute after that. So stick around for one more minute and we'll be done. All right. While you're watching, if you don't mind, give me a thumbs up, a heart, an applause, whatever, depending what platform you're watching. Give me a reaction. If you have any questions, hit me in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but if you catch this in the live stream, which you know this now, but once I do the live stream, it's always on my timeline, so you can go back and watch it. Here we go. All right, thank you for joining me. So what's the lesson that I'm trying to teach? It's this. You see this? We had a couple down months in a row. We peaked in July of this summer. Markets have gone down pretty hard, week after week, month after month. Late October, we started to get a rally. It's continued into this month in November, and it just accelerated today because inflation came in a good deal lower than expected. And now interest rate hikes going forward are not only off the table, but we have to be talking about interest rate cuts. Now, we can get into it. That'll be for another day of how interest rate hikes and cuts work and affect the market and affect the economy and affect what people do and the decisions they make and how they affect the value of stocks. We talk about that all the time, but I said this would be a quick show. So today, the Dow is up almost 500 points. The NASDAQ was up a whopping 326 points. S&P up a whopping 84 points. These are big moves, folks. Oil was down a drop. The 10-year yield was down 4.4 down to 4.43%. Remember about a week and a half ago it was 5%, and people said the world is over, and now it's going to go to 6%. All right. Remember how people said how bad the market is, you should get out? And here we are. So we'll get into these things in a moment, more into it. You can't invest directly into an index, but you could invest into a security that tracks or mimics an index in case I mumbled. I'm a little tired. I got my second shingle shot. It's kind of as expected. It's starting to knock me on my butt. All right. I'm feeling pretty crappy right now. But anyway, the yields, in particular, the 10-year, this is why the market moved up, mainly this one. Yields are coming down. It's expected the Fed could cut rates 2 to 4 times next year. This is the going conventional wisdom, which is shifted dramatically from just a week ago. And now, first of all, you could get a 6-month T-bill at 5.4% still, a 1 year at 5.2%, even a 10-year, 4.53%. That is still higher than the inflation rate. So you're still getting a premium on bonds. You're still getting an interest rate premium above and beyond the inflation rate. So bonds are looking like still a really good deal, and despite the fact that interest rates have come off a little bit in the last week and a half. But once inflation came out lower than expected, a lot lower than expected, the narrative shifted not from bad to good, it shifted from rates going lower, the stock market going up, to accelerating everything. So it's heads I win, tails you lose situation, meaning you win no matter what. So if we do actually go into a recession, Fed cuts rates, stocks go up now, right? If we don't go into recession, economy's holding up better, but inflation's coming down, which is Goldilocks, soft landing. You know, an economy not too strong, not too weak, inflation under control, interest rates under control, employment strong, stocks do very well in that kind of environment. That is what we call Goldilocks. But regardless, when you start having news, even bad news that's interpreted as good news, you know we are in a new bull market phase. And right now, whatever news you throw at the market, not such great news in retail sales, for example, not such great news with credit card utilization rates. I could go on and on about the bad news, but it's all being sloughed aside, brushed aside, I should say. It's all being brushed aside because we're in a bull market. Because a week and a half ago, we spoke about Shopify. That's the internet enabler for small businesses to go and become internet companies, logistics and all those things, and transportation of goods, delivery. They had a blowout number. Small business is doing well. Economy is doing better than you think. And everything points to that. Now, the House just passed a bill to avoid a government shutdown. This just came out. This is breaking news. The House passed a bill. We'll see what the Senate does, but I would say the Senate will give it the green light and Biden will sign it, and we'll have like a rolling shutdown from different appropriations bills. There's 12 appropriations bills that manage 12 different parts of the government, from agriculture to State Department to energy. So instead of having them all come up at once, let's stagger them. Hey, there's 12 appropriations bills. Maybe we should do one a month. Makes sense, doesn't it? It's a lot to do all at once, and nobody could agree on anything. So maybe if we do one at a time, make it more bite-sized chunks, that could work better. Anyway, that's what happened today. Inflation was lower than expected. Investors who feel like they're missing out on a rising stock market for the last few weeks decided to throw in the towel and buy. Small cap stocks were up the most, up like 5% on the Russell 2000. That's an index that is made up of small company stocks. Interest rates are down. And here we are. And there is just some people out there who are going to say, but we're still not out of the woods yet. It doesn't matter. So the point of this video today, of this live stream, was, did you feel pressure to do something? When the market goes down 400 or 500 points, I don't feel pressure to do anything because we already did what we had to do. When the market goes up 400 or 500 points, I don't feel pressure to do anything because we all did what we had to do. And that's the way it should be. Big up and down moves shouldn't be a surprise. They're part of the investing process. And you shouldn't be overreacting. You should be proactive so that you're set up. So when you have these up days and down days, you're not caught flat-footed or on your back foot wondering, what should you do now? I have to do something now. Because you know when you're pressured to do something now, especially when it comes to your money, to investments, it's usually the worst thing you could do at that moment. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a great rest of your evening.